Hey everyone, this is Jake Burns with the Bigger, Better Biz channel and Bryan Caplan Marketing, here to show you an easy way to create a very professional looking, very engaging email for realtors. All right, so what I did here is I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like in the beginning, and then we're going to go build it, and then I'll show you at the end. So that way you have a visual for what we're actually building. All right, so this is the email I created. There's a header image that links out to the website of the realtor. There is an initial article. This is going to be like a local news story, something about the local football team, maybe something about a parade coming up, those kinds of things. The second article I like to use is something about a food story. People in local areas love to know about new restaurants, love to hear about what's happening as far as the top 10 seafood restaurants, all those kinds of things. I always like to kind of have a feature about that as well. Next up, what's your home worth? People like to know how much their home is worth. They're always checking. And then upcoming area events. Maybe there's some parades coming up. Maybe there are events like a big concert that you want to showcase. Something to make it show that you live in a great area. There's lots to do. You have good food, etc. And then your listings. You can add as many or as few here as you want. And as you'll see in the rest of the video, you can customize these things. You can customize this email. You don't have to have everything I have. You can use this these are actually automatically pulled in, so it's really, really simple. If you just wanted to send an email only about properties, you can do that in like 5 minutes. It's really, really simple. Some properties and then areas we cover in the footer. So I'm going to go over exactly how to build this here in just 1 second, so stay tuned. Okay, now that you saw exactly what we want to build, now let's go actually build it. What I did was I went to campaigns and I clicked create a campaign. It brings you to this page where it asks you to select a template. I want to find something that does not have a border. See how this one has kind of a border around it? I don't want a border. This one just has a background color that we can change later. And I also want to have something that has kind of the rounded corners. All right, so we click on that, opens the email builder here in Constant Contact. And from there, next thing we're going to do is give this a different name. I'll call it sample for realtors because that kind of makes sense. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to adjust some of the colors. So outer background color, we want to use kind of a light color. So I'm going to select this, but then that's a little too dark, right? So I'm going to go a little bit lighter than that, and you can play with this as much as you want to get to a color you like. But I'm going to go with, let's try that. All right, so it's kind of light, but not too light. Next thing is I always like to use Arial in these emails, or Lucida Sans. That's another nice one. We'll use Arial because it's simple. And then color-wise, we're going to go with let's go with kind of a red. The person I'm making this for in this sample is named Dakota. She's one of our clients. And her colors are red, so I'm going to go with kind of a deeper red. And you can color match as much as you want. But a lot of times, as long as you're close and have it look good, that usually gets you pretty far. All right, so now I've chosen the button color. I've chosen kind of the link color. And now for feature articles, I'm going to just make that white. Perfect. All right, so now we have the basis of the email ready to go. The next thing is under build. We're going to go and we're actually going to get rid of a lot of the stuff that's already here. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of everything that we don't need, so that way we can kind of start from scratch. And this won't take very long. Typically, the build time maybe like 10-15 minutes. If you're looking for actual content, it'll take you a little bit longer because you are finding articles and things. All right, so I'll start from the bottom. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make this a different style. You would obviously adjust your pages and which ones you want to use, add a network, whatever social media networks you're using, you would adjust them here. After you do that, then you save it. And now I'm going to adjust the text down here. And the reason I like to have the information at the bottom is because a lot of times people don't read. And so they scroll all the way to the bottom because they know probably at the bottom it was going to be a contact email, there was going to be the phone number, those kinds of things. So as a realtor, it's pretty important that people can get in touch with you relatively easily. And I'm just going to give it a fake phone number, but I think you get the idea. And see my listings. All right, so I'm going to link that. And I already have her listings pulled up here. So I'll add the link. And then contact me. I'm going to go to her page again and get her contact page. You can do your email there as well if you want. And I'm going to make that just for style's sake. I'm going to make this bold. All right, so the next thing is, this section in that template I showed you was all the background color. So I need to make that the right color so it blends in. And I'm going to get rid of that spacer. All right, so now we have kind of the footer. Want to add a space above it. And we're going to color that again. Okay, cut that to like 15 pixels. Next thing is the top section. So I've already gone and gotten a bunch of images that I'm just going to upload here to make our lives simple and easy. But you'll need these, all of these things ready when you're ready to make your email. So I'm just going to upload all of them in one shot. Done, and I will select that and make it full width. And you would link this again to your website. So I'll just get the website URL there, link it. All right, and now we're going to build the body of the email. And we had a few things in here. We had a local kind of section where you can put things happening in the local area. We had a food section. Food always works really, really well in realtor emails. We had a get your home value banner ad that I had created, which you can create, or you can find online and buy one. We had an event section, and then your top listings. And I made it really, really simple here how to add your listings. And I'm going to do that first. So what I do to add a listing and not have to go and spend a lot of time on it is I get the link. All you gotta do is get the link. View details. So I get the link there, and you can also click over to the page and copy the link up here if you like to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the content, which is under Read More. And what this does is it automatically pulls in content. So if you have a link, it's going to automatically find the image, the main image on the page. You can select a different image if you want. It's going to automatically pick an image. It's automatically going to pull in text, which you can edit if you like. And it's automatically going to add the Read More, so people can go and see that. Now that's one. I'd like to have two side by side. So I'm going to get another one. I'm going to drag it and see how it has that line just to the right. If I drop that in, now I'm going to go find a different property. Doing the same thing, getting the link. Takes a couple seconds to find it. And then inserting it. And there you go. And you can adjust, see how one is a little bit longer, the text a little bit longer, so I can come down here if I want and maybe adjust that text if you want to, just to make it a little cleaner. All right, and then so the next thing you would do to make your life easy is you come over here to the left or the right hand side, click on the little gear, and click the copy button. Now I have 4 listings. You can have 6 listings. You can do as many listings as you want. And even, sometimes people, what they like to do is instead of all the other kind of content that I have planned for you, they actually come in here and they just put one large listing at the top. And that way you have one large listing at the top, and then 4 or 6 or whatever other listings below. But that's totally up to you, and you can have some different types of emails. All right, so we have our content as far as the the different listings that you're going to have here, which is great. The next thing you want to do, and you would adjust these to obviously to whatever other properties you want. I'm going to add a spacer This spacer, I'm going to make the color of the background. Then we're going to use this one quite a bit. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put one above it. And there's one below it. So now above here, we're going to start building the rest of the email. The first thing we do is bring in the image. And I'm going to use this football image just to give you an idea. And you want to get rid of the padding. Okay, so get rid of the padding, and that means it goes flush up against the image above and the the area below. And then we're going to add text below it. We're going to add a title. We're going to add one more spacer here just to make it look a little cleaner. And reduce that size to 20. And you can play with these things, of course. We're going to add a button. Another spacer. And go back to 20. And then last but not least, for a little extra punch, we're going to add a line here. We're going to click on that line. We're going to increase the size, the thickness, 3. And we're going to reduce the size of this thing all the way down, just so it's kind of a small bar. Nice little accent. Perfect. So this headline, you can have it be whatever you want. This is going to be a local story. So you have a local story here, and what we found in Realty emails is that when you add a story, something about the local football team, something about maybe a parade coming up, whatever it might be, they play really well, and it gives a reason for people to want to open the email. Something is happening, and of course you would make the subject line something related to this, or maybe the food item that you have next. All right, so we made that. That's the first section. You would add your text here of whatever's happening. You would change the link to go link to the place, obviously, that the story is about, which kind of makes sense. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to repeat this and just do a lot of copying. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy the spacer. I'm going to move it down. I'm going to copy the headline. Put that right below the thing we just added, the spacer. Then we're going to copy the line divider. Some text. And as I do this, there are a lot of jumping off points. You don't have to build this entire email to make it be effective. You can just have the email, like I mentioned before, only be about the properties. And in those properties, then then you're only making the email about properties or listings. You can have it just have one article at the top that's something local, or have it below. You can have events. You can take this kind of concept and really tailor it to what makes sense for you and kind of who your client base is. We just found this works pretty well in general, so that's why I want to share the entire email. And then you can pick and choose what you like to do. All right, so I want to also take this. So now we have the second section. I'm going to replace it with a food image. And I would give this a link too. So you'd find the link, you'd click web page, add the link there to wherever you want to go. And it would be a food story. And this, a lot of times can be like the top 10 seafood restaurants near me, the best dining options, the newest restaurants, all these different things. People love finding great restaurants. So you can add them, anything like that in this second section. Or you can not include it at all, and you can just have that top section like I mentioned before. All right, so now that we have these things done, that title done, I'm also going to add it down here to the section on our properties. And I'm going to add, so we can add a little bit of style. Just moving a spacer down. I'm going to add the line. I'm just doing a lot of copying and pasting at this point. And you can play with the titles here as much as you want. All right, so we have our listing section done. I'm going to copy this because we have a new section now, and this is where we're going to put home value. We'll pull in an image. What's your home worth? Again, this is a graphic I just created, so you can adjust it. Get rid of the padding, and you can make the background a different color, the same color as the rest of the background if you want. It's really up to you. Then you would add a link to it. So a lot of people have this on their website. You would add a link, for the web page. Okay. All right. So now we're making pretty good progress here. The next up is we're going to have a section for events. So again, I'm going to copy this one right here, just a spacer. I'm going to copy the title, copy. Moving it up so it's right below that first spacer. I'm going to add a copy of this line because it's kind of our style we've chosen. And then I'm going to copy this spacer, the colored spacer, and move that below the line. Okay? All right, so now we have sections broken out. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a side-by-side. And you can do this a couple different ways if you want. You don't have to do side-by-side. Just something I think works pretty well. And then in this section, you can copy another spacer. And in this section, you would add events. So event name, September 20th, 2020. And this can be linked. You can link this to wherever. I'm going to make it bold, just the name, so you have a little more information. And then what you would do is you'd have a space and maybe 3 events. So what we like to use there many times is we like to have, say, upcoming parades, upcoming fairs, upcoming things happening in your area that make it a desirable place to live. Something somewhere that somebody would want to be. Could be anything. It's really up to you and kind of your local market. All right, so now we have just about everything. We have one more section to go. Didn't like that apparently. Okay, we'll reduce that to 20. I want to make a copy of this. And now I'm going to make a copy of this kind of divider. This is the last section we have. Move it up one spot. So now we have a break between our 2 sections. I'm going to make a copy of this. So top and bottom. And I'm just going to add in some text. And I'm going to copy the title here. Move that down. And you can always recreate these things. You can pull them from the left. It's really up to you. This is just how I like to do it personally. I always think it's easier. Content Contact's done a pretty good job with how they manipulate all of the blocks, so I generally like to use that. All right, so now the next thing is I always like to have at the footer, these are the areas we cover. A lot of people have this at the bottom of their website for SEO value, and Dakota is no different than that. I'm pretty sure it's on the home page. Here we go. So I'm going to copy this and just paste it in. Get rid of that line. All right, so it's all centered. And I'm going to make the text all red because I like that. And then what I'd like to do is I just want to underline each of these so people know that they're links. All right, I won't bore you with this. I'll finish this up offline. And then, let's go take a look again at the final product and also see how this thing looks in email. So, all right, catch you in a second. Okay, so we did it. Here is the final product that we were just building. And as I mentioned, the best thing about this kind of template is I added all kinds of elements in here, all kinds of things, and you can pick and choose. You don't have to do the entire email. You can do just the beginning section. You can have the header, you can have your first article, and then maybe skip down. But I'm going to show you real quick. Here's the finished product. Nice work, by the way. Hopefully you have something very similar at home. If you have questions, though, you can always email me at jake@bryancaplan.com. That's BRYAN, Caplan, CAPLAN.com. And you can see here we have two articles. One's a food story, one's kind of a local article. What's your home worth? Some upcoming area events. A few listings, because you always got to have listings in there, right? I mean, seriously. And then, areas we cover. So these are going to be the places that people can link to go and see, where you actually offer services, where you're a realtor for. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Catch you next time. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever or need help implementing this template, let me know. I'm happy to help. My email is Jake, Jake, @Bryan, BRYAN, Caplan, CAPLAN.com. Thanks so much. See you next time.